If you're not building executives inside of ChatGPT, you are missing out. In this video, I'm going to teach you exactly how to build a CMO inside of ChatGPT. You can use this on the free version. We're going to get to build a full strategy and marketing plan. By the way, I'm Josh O'Sullivan. I built and scaled my own AI company. Now I'm building a $100 million company, AI Institute, teaching people how to do exactly what we're about to do for people exactly like you. Let's get into the meat, veg, and the potatoes. All gravy, baby. So this saucy stuff, what we're going to do here is speak to ChatGPT and we can give it a basic prompt. And this simple text-based prompt is we're just going to ask it, what is a marketing content plan and strategy? The important thing to note is you need to tell it what kind of platform you want to post on. So if we want to post on Instagram, tell it you want to post on Instagram. If you're going to be posting on Facebook, you got to tell it you're going to be posting on Facebook. You also got to give it a bit of context about who you are and what you do. So if you want, go back, watch a previous video. That's going to be up above. This will give you details as to how do you get context from who you are, what you do, where you're from. That's a master prompt, okay? That should be baked in your brain. If it's not, you need to give it the information. Now you can do that with just a simple text-based prompt that I'm about to show you. Let's get into it. Right here, text field, you can do this on free version. So I'm going to tell it, I want you to build a content and marketing strategy. I want you to do it for Instagram, and I want you to grab all the context about me that you know that's baked into your memory, all right? I want you to do research and provide me with as much context and knowledge that you have about building a marketing and content strategy for Instagram. I want you to utilize all the information that you have about me. I want to create me as an AI influencer, and I'll post short form content on Instagram. Utilize all that information and create me a base framework and a strategy for this plan. That's it. So a simple text-based prompt. We give it a few simple sentences, and all of a sudden, we're going to have ourselves a baseline of a strategy, right? We're going to utilize this strategy to create the CMO. This CMO is going to operate on your behalf. So with this CMO, we need to give it a role. We need to give it a responsibility. We need to give it an objective. We need to give it some context as to who we are and what we do and why it's going to be building this out and how to do it, okay? And things and limitations, things that it can do and things that it can't do. So important to note here, obviously it's got a lot of memory about me inside of here. If you don't have any memory in here, you just need to provide it with a little bit more information. So you can see here, it's pulled in a lot of this info. It's grabbed all these pillars, the things that I do, the frameworks and stuff that I sort of operate in. We're going to copy this. We're actually going to create a completely new chat, a whole nother conversation to build out the CMO. So still going, it's rocking and rolling. So while it's doing that, I'm just going to duplicate and create a completely new conversation, new chat. So come over here to the sidebar, new chat, slide back, and we're back to this text field. So as it's building this for you, we can start to create our CMO. So again, using text or voice, you can just tell it what you want it to do. Now, fortunately, I've got a framework that I'm going to give you guys down in the description below. This is going to break down exactly how to do it. It'll be a template, so you can just fill it in, fill in the blank. For now, I'll do it using text. So I want you to act as my personal CMO, my Chief Marketing Officer. That will be your role. Your responsibility is to utilize the information that I've provided below to create and act as a CMO, building a content and marketing strategy and plan for me, Josh O'Sullivan. And I want you to focus on me being an AI influencer. I'll be posting on Instagram in short form. The objective here is to utilize the context below to create viral content. Your restrictions are only to create the scripting, the branding, the marketing using Australian English. And we don't want any M dashes. We want no emojis. We want no icons. And we don't want to use the Australian type grammar and colloquial terms. For example, we don't want to use mate. We don't want to use g'day. We don't want to do any of these things. We also don't want to speak in American English. So the purpose, the reason that I go into that much depth and detail and also give it those limitations is because ChatGPT will always, as a baseline, utilize US English. Now, if you're in the US, all good. You're all gravy, hunky-dory, just keep rocking and rolling. If you're in Oz, if you're in whatever country, you want to utilize that direction and those limitations to provide as much context to ChatGPT and direct it down a path of least resistance. Okay, so we keep this prompt here as is. And what I'm going to do is you hold shift and you're just going to hold enter. And then we're just going to create 3 dashes. And all that does is tell ChatGPT there's a break between this information and then the information below. And here I'm just going to write in bold context And then I'm just going to get my little brackets there. And then we're going to pop the information from this other discussion that we've got here. And we're going to pop that below. Now, copy is just these two little squares that we have here. Copy that, come back to our other window, shift enter, and now we're below the context. So this is where we're going to hold down. Now, for some people, it might be Command. For Mac, PC, you're going to have Command V or Control V, and I'm just going to paste that stuff down below in there. So this information, all this context from the previous discussion now, it's going to know who I am, where I'm from, what I do, how I operate. That'll be in the memory inside of ChatGPT. If you don't have that, that's where you got to pump all that stuff in using your voice or write it out. So we've got our role, we've got an objective, we've got a responsibility, we've got some limitations. Now we've got a whole bunch of context as well that we're going to give it. So let's see now, acting as our CMO, what kind of content strategy and output it has here. It's going to start thinking, processing this information, gathering as much context as it can about, that the Instagram algorithm, the information, a lot of stuff about me. If you've got a whole bunch of content you've already got on Instagram, this is where I'd recommend you want to add all that information inside of there. You can pull information from your existing Instagram, from captions, posts, images. That will help give ChatGPT as much information as it can to build what it has as a profile of you, really. So we have our brand positioning, our idea. It's got some context as my background, my history, my story, some of the things that I do, how I operate, my bio. There's a whole bunch of goodies in here that if you're just starting out using ChatGPT, if you're just starting out creating content, you might be just giving all the power to ChatGPT to just come up with whatever it wants. But if you can guide it as a CMO, if you can give it very clear direction with roles and responsibilities, now we have a full strategy. It's even giving us our hook. It's giving us our body. Now, if you're in this world, you know what that means. If not, just focus on the hook as the starting point. The body is the meat and veg that I talk about inside of the videos. And then your CTA, your call to action, is a way to get people to do something like click a button or show up and watch this video. So you want to dive into all this stuff and start to take little sections from here that you might want to then extrapolate on. If you like the way that it created a reel or a bit of content, you can then copy this section, create a new chat, and that will be just your conversation in that moment for creating hooks. Or maybe there's just that section you have for creating captions. Now, bear in mind, if you're using the free version, the longer you have that conversation, the more you're going to start to lose all the goodies inside of there. It's just going to start to cram it in and it will lose what its initial intent is. So you need to copy the original prompt, the original role responsibility of the hook or the body, and then you need to create a new chat. Now, later on down the line, I'll show you guys in Plus how you can create custom GPTs, projects. So stick around for later videos. But for now, this is a great starting point for you guys to start to develop a strategy on building your own marketing CMO that can work on your behalf. This would save you hundreds of thousands of dollars if you were to employ this person to come up with this sort of stuff. Now, just keep conversing with it. Make it better. Hunky dory, folks. So if you're enjoying all this saucy stuff and you're kind of at this point now, you've watched this video, but you want to get some of the meat, veg, and potatoes before it so you can understand how to put this together, just watch up here, this video. This will give you one of the previous videos that I've done. Now, we're going to continue on from here and do image generation off the back of this. So your CMO can then start creating images in relation to your Instagram. See you in the next one, folks.